Hello, my name is Lindy Cowling and welcome to my YouTube channel. My website is www.lindycowling.co.uk. The title of the video today is Yikes I'm Merging Twin Flames. As part of the experience of the twin flame union that I went through, but also in being in connection with many other people that are in spiritual catalyst connections, spiritual soulmate connections, heart awakening catalysts and twin flames, as part of connecting with those people, especially with the twin flame side of it, there is a common phenomena that keeps reoccurring and that people talk about, and it's something that I also experienced, which is why I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And it's when you reach a certain stage of the twin flame union, and for those of you that don't know what a twin flame is, it is the masculine and feminine expression of the one soul consciousness in two separate bodies. So the soul, your soul, also experiencing consciousness and awareness in another human body at the same time. What's happened in my connection and what I see happening in other people's connections, particularly in twin flames, in the small percentage of twin flames that I actually am linked with, is they all reach a certain stage, and I reach this stage as well, which I can only describe as merging. And it's the phenomena where it's at that stage that actually a lot of the twins tend to panic. I didn't panic, I think because I understood what it was, but a lot of twins panic. The kind of thing that they'll describe is that they feel like they are being suffocated. They feel like their identity is just going and just being sucked out of them and disappearing off down the drain. They feel like their whole, it's more than their personality, their whole being has suddenly been completely eclipsed by the other party, i.e. the twin, the spiritual connection, the soul connection, the other expression of their consciousness, the masculine or feminine expression of their consciousness in the other body, the other person. It's particularly prevalent in twins because of the connection they have, being the one soul. I always describe it, I wish I had a way of showing you this with like a test tube. When I'm describing this, when I pick up on this element of it with clients, with genuine twin flames, the small percentage of clients that are actually twin flames, a lot of people are in other connections, but the small percentage are, this is very, very prevalent, this phenomena, where I describe it this way, as if I had a tube here. Imagine this was a tube between my fingers, and it was liquid, like a test tube laying on its side like this. This represents the test tube, and it's liquid. And when twin flames, they get to a certain point in their evolution where they are merging, when they are, all their energy is kind of rushing together. So this might be all the layers of energy around them, their aura, their mental body, their emotional body, you know, the pain body, everything, their whole essence of who they are, the expression of the soul, the spirit they are, is kind of all rushing together. It's like a process of osmosis. There's no boundaries in the same way with twin flames. How can there be if you're a one soul being? So everything's rushing together. And if you imagine this as a test tube, what seems to happen is this, is if I've got an equal amount of liquid in this test tube and it's in perfect balance, like when they first ignite, when they first meet, it's kind of in perfect balance for 5 minutes, and my 5 minutes equates to weeks, months, and then it goes, what happens is the test tube goes like this, whoa, and then the liquid, the essence, the soul, the expression, it seems to, as part of that merge, it seems one of the twins, one of the party, gets the feeling that they're literally disappearing into the other one. It's like, I never had that because I felt the merging. It was very strong at one stage, and I could actually see through the eyes of my twin and almost actually experience all that side of it. But I wasn't disempowered in that respect. I didn't feel panicky about that, or like I was disappearing into my twin. I was aware of my identity. I had a multitude of other things to contend with, other problems, so to speak, to contend with in that union, but that kind of wasn't one of them. Actually, it was the other way around, that the twin felt that from that, in that particular instant, panicky about losing their identity and who they were, because actually with hindsight my energy at that point was much stronger than that, the twins basically, so much stronger at that point then. So what happens is, like, I hear this report worldwide where one of the twins feels like they're disappearing into the other. Like, I don't know who I am. I keep losing my personality. I feel like I'm suffocating. I feel like I'm dying. I feel like I'm disappearing. The other twin seems to do like this, like a bell jar over the top of them, and they feel like they're being eclipsed by it, crushed by it. It's all too much. It's all too intense. Sometimes it actually triggers the running. It triggers the, look, I've got to stand back from this. And quite understandably so, because with a normal human being, there are boundaries. There are boundaries. You know where your own body begins and ends. You know where your own essence, your soul and spirit begins and ends. With a genuine twin flame, with a tiny percentage of twin flames that are here, tiny percentage, with a genuine twin flame union, there is a point in that evolution where you actually don't know where, at some points in that, where one begins and one ends. It's very easy to lose yourself in it, and this is very much part of the reason why the twins, their soul governs, if you like, the higher self governs that they must come away from each other, because it has to be in perfect completion and perfect balance. You can't have one that disappears into a gloopy old mush with no personality. They're incomplete, if you like. They're not sure who they are. And one dominant one that's literally glooping the life out the other one. I'm not talking in the respect of psychic vampires. That's a different ball game. That's when somebody connects with someone that's literally sucking the life force out of them, the energy out of them. That's nothing to do with twin flames, although they can mimic a twin flame connection. I'm talking about a genuine, pure twin flame connection, that this part of the phenomena seems to happen where one of the party, not usually both, and sometimes one separately from the other later on, but it's usually one of them. And actually, I have to say, most of the cases I've encountered this in has been the woman that feels like she's being lost within the male twin's energy. Not always, but I would say most of the time, like 85–90% of the time, it's been that way that I've experienced it. It wasn't that way for me personally, it was the other way around. There were other problems, like I say, plenty of them, but that I didn't feel like I was being immersed in my twin's energy. If anything, my energy was the stronger, spiritually, the stronger at that time. So like I say, it's a phenomena that happens, and it's something to be aware of. I mean, I hear genuine twins report that at certain times in the union, they actually feel like they're melting, and especially during lovemaking, you know, they're melting into the other person. They can't even feel them. They go numb, or they go tingly, or they just feel like they've disappeared, totally disappeared into them. They can kind of see through their eyes, or if there's blocks in the pain body, or the intensity is too much for them at that time, they can feel very panicky about it. Like I say, they can bolt away from the connection when they feel overwhelmed, like this person is just able to, it's way beyond just know everything about me, way beyond that. It's way beyond telepathy and knowing what the other person thinks. That happens in soul connections, that happens in kind of what we call normal connections anyway. It's way beyond that. It's like actually disappearing into the other person, because the biggest challenge the mind, the ego, has in these connections is I'm not an individual. The mind has to accept I'm not an individual. I can express through my personality, but I am actually having to accept being a one soul being. And the mind will fight this tooth and nail. It will fight tooth and nail to protect, rigidly protect what it believes is its security, its whole persona. It believes the personality is what it is, and that's, you know, it clings to that, sometimes to the total detriment of the union. I mean, if it goes to extremes, which sometimes it does actually, that your unions can stall or even collapse, totally come down, where a twin is so convinced they are the personality they believe they are, their status in society, or holding together a situation that they're in, is easier for their mind to accept than to accept being a one soul being. And there's a huge irony to this, because of course once that acceptance, some people would call it surrender, once that acceptance and surrender has taken place, it then becomes much more easy. Actually, it's a beautiful thing, but there's no criticism in that. It takes the time it takes, depending on the evolution of the actual set of twins involved. You know, everybody's different. Everybody evolves at different rates. Everybody has different blocks, you know, in the pain body or in the energy field. You know, everybody has been templated with the families that they've been born into, and so it takes different amount of times. And like I say, we still have quite a high percentage of twins that do not come together in a conventional format, because actually they're not supposed to be together in a conventional format. They're a template for a new form of loving partnership, a new form of relationship, and it all begins with them as a soul and a spirit. The buck stops here. It all begins with them. That's the irony. They have to know who they are and be complete individually to accept that they're not individual. I mean, it's a crazy thing, isn't it? It's all arse about face with twins. I mean, I've said this from the off. I perhaps haven't put it as bluntly as that, but it's all the other way round, because it's a spiritual and soul connection. And through the human vessel, the embodiment through the human vessel last. So it's all the way up and coming down into the body, coming down into the heart, coming down into the human existence of it. So if you are a twin flame that's at this stage where you feel like you're disappearing into, and this is part of the course, it's part of what every set of genuine twin flames go through in their union. And don't be afraid of it. It's what all of us went through and go through. it will pass. You know, the more you kick and struggle and fight against this, I've always said this, you know, the more you try and bend a twin flame union around anything, any situations, and the more you struggle against it, it becomes extreme suffering. It doesn't have to be that way, but it becomes extremely painful. So if you can just literally relax into it, sometimes that's the last thing you're going to feel like you want to do or can do. You think, how can I relax into this situation? You got to just keep being true to yourself and honor yourself. And it's no good, you know, your twin saying to you, oh, you must accept this, we're one and we should be together because we're one. Both sets of twins have to get to the stage where they 100% know totally who they are secure with themselves, have this awareness within themselves, this love within themselves, a state of completion, actually, a state of peace within themselves. Most of the time, if not all the time, a reasonable state of balance. Then this, you know, this thing of when they come around each other, one feeling like they're being sucked dry, you know, just disappearing into the other one, and the panic that sets off and everything else, you know, that will all, once they're in balance, that won't actually occur then, you know, they can come into a level playing field. When there's all this disparity in either energy field stuff going off, it's nigh on impossible for them to come in around each other for long. This is why they come in, they go out, they come in, they come out. It's a DNA action. Look, they come in, they go out, they come in, they go out, they come in, they go out. It's DNA, it's cellular structure, really. That's the way it's designed to be. This is why we call them, you know, a blessing or a curse. They are a wonderful gift, but they are immensely challenging. So if you are a twin that's in that situation, don't panic. Relax into it, and if you need to stand back, pull back, you know, to readjust, to rebalance, well, then that's all part of the process. You know, sometimes pulling back and standing back isn't disappearing off. I mean, sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not that, you know. It's whatever. So we've just got a cat arrived on the scene here who's about to take a bite out of a plant. No, no, no. So, you know, like I said, if you are in that state, don't panic. Just try and relax into it and accept that that's all part and parcel of the process. You're not going to disappear. It's just this rebalancing. Think of the test tube again. Got one eye on my naughty cat. Think of the test tube again. It's just that rebalancing process. Anyway, thank you very much, and I will love you and leave you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.